Hello, and welcome to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. I'm Silver, and our co-host.
Chaotic. You can't see it, but I dabbed. You can't see it, but I dabbed.
She did, in fact, dab, and I did not see it.
And our guest...
Nex Noir. Meow.
We're very energetic, and Nex is like Nex.
Well, Nex, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So, I'm Nex Noir. I'm just the stray cat that likes to hide in corners around Discord and everything like that. That's pretty much it. That's my story.
Wow.
What else do you want me to say?
Nex Noir also streams at twitch.tv, Nex Noir _. Has a wonderful VTuber that they will be bringing back soon. You can also find Nex playing Steve on DVD often, and Leon when she wants to piss me off. So, because she plays Leon with other people.
But you want Steve, not Leon.
I want everybody.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So yeah, just a little bit of a shout out there. Next, we'll be coming back to streaming soon.
Yeah.
So, Chaotic, did I tell you what the topic was, or did I just tell you Nex was going to be the guest?
Yep, just that Nex was the guest. That's what we're doing here.
Would you like to introduce the topic, Nex?
Yeah. So we're going to be going with this Scottish mythological water horse lore, aka the Kelpie.
Is it like the Neclavy? The Nucklavy?
I mean, it's kind of close, but not really. It deals with fresh water. No, you're not going to be traumatized, no.
Okay, perfect. That's all I needed to know.
It has skin, if that's what you're...
Okay, yes, perfect. We're great.
Okay.
But there is one thing. The skin's a little special.
Okay.
We'll get to that here in a moment. So what do you know about the Kelpie, Chaotic, that you can...
I've heard of it. I couldn't, off the top of my head, tell you anything about it, but I have heard the name often.
Would you like to speak on the Kelpie next, or...?
Yeah. So, the Kelpie is a horse-like creature that lives in fresh water, like lakes, streams, rivers, that kind of stuff. And what it does is it tries to lure people onto its back or to fall in love with it so that way it can bring it back to the water and then devour them whole. Sometimes they'll appear as a horse, sometimes they'll appear as a man or a woman, sometimes an elderly person, children, but it's always constant of like luring people into the water. But that's all I got.
Yep. They like to lure them into water and drown them, and a lot of the stories I see, they don't eat the intestines. They throw the intestines back up on the shore. They must be very picky about their meat. When the Kelpies do find a potential person to kidnap and take down to the water, they usually, when they're in the horse form, they're usually like all black or all white, and that makes them really beautiful, and they have really big ears. You can't see, but I was doing the hand ears.
You can't see on our audio podcast, but I was making ear-like motions.
It was majestic.
That is the theme of today's podcast episode, is visual gags on an audio platform.
Fair.
These people would see this beautiful horse out in the pasture next to the lakes, and they just go up and touch it. And when they touch it, the Selkie,
What?
different creature, the Kelpie,
Uh-huh.
has a special skin. So you
Yep.
know how the Knucklevi had no skin, right?
Yeah.
Well, this other water horse has a very sticky skin.
Oh my god, this is just like that SpongeBob thing we were talking about last episode. You touch the sticky grandma, you can't get out of it, and it just carries you away.
Yep.
Pretty much the exact same thing, because you cannot escape the stickiness.
Disgusting.
Yeah, you would like get up on the back of the horse and it would just take off running towards the water, and riders would realize that they could not dismount off the horse. It's glorious.
Disgusting.
It's great.
And I'm going to guess they can probably choose how and when they make their skin sticky, because if you climb up on the horse with it not being sticky, then they'd make you stuck. So it must have some way to secrete the stickiness from its skin, which makes it just about worse. But being a beautiful horse isn't the only way, like Nex says, it lures people to touch it. It
Please
can
do
also
so.
it can also shape change.
Oh, it's a shifter.
It is in fact a shifter.
We love that.
So its most common form is that of men. Usually, it takes the form of either a grizzly old man who's like sitting on a bridge, muttering to himself, sewing his pants up, or it's a beautiful young man that's come from afar, or just like a ship's captain. That's in order to try and get close to humans and get them to come down to the waters where they'll drag them in to drown them.
Do you know how to tell that it's actually a Kelpie, though?
I do. I have read up on ways. Could chaotic guess what a Kelpie's tail would be?
I don't know. Probably not. I'm bad at that stuff. I'd die. No, I don't know. Surprise me.
Next, would you like to surprise her?
Yeah. Okay, so when they like appear as a man or a woman or however, you can tell that it's a Kelpie by looking at their hair if they have sand or seaweed in their hair.
Oh shit! So we just if you got some pretty lady at the beach that's got some sand grains in her hair, don't do it.
She might become sticky and drag you into the water.
What? Stop it! Nope. All right.
There is another way I've seen as well. Next, have you seen the second way?
Probably not.
This one's not as prominent, but it's also due to Christianity's influence over it, and that is that the Kelpie's human form will have reversed hooves, kind of like Pan or like Satan.
I forgot about that.
And sometimes the Kelpie horse will also have its hooves on backwards.
Ew, creepy. What a creepy like little detail, like that you may not notice upon first glance, and then like you're definitely like like when you look at something and you're like something's definitely wrong, and then you realize upon further investigation that it was something really gross. That's that kind of instance, and I just don't like it.
Just the tiniest of detail is off, but it is completely wrong. Like a cat that has dog ears, or
yeah, and it's like not something that's so like invasive that your brain automatically recognizes it. It like has to double take, and it makes it worse.
Yeah. Do you think, Chaotic, you would survive a Kelpie encounter?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. How would you survive an encounter with a Kelpie?
I'm not fucking touching it, Silver. I'm not touching it. First of all, I just hang on, just bear with me here. Well, and then I'll give my weapon of choice if I did actually touch it. Okay, we'll do the escape plan after that.
Okay.
But the survive can chaotic survive section. First of all, chaotic's not touching these things because if a horse appears to me and it's a wild horse, you got me fucked up if you think I'm trying to touch it or ride it. Okay, first of all. Second of all, if some dude or lady appears and is like trying to seduce me near the water, I'm definitely going to be like, "Where's the camera?" You know what I mean? So like it's not happening in today's day and age for me. It's not a vibe. However, if for some reason the horse was super cute and I did touch it, would I be able to either use flame or a blade to cut at its stickiness?
I'm not sure what fire will do per se. From what I've seen, probably not very much.
Okay.
And the blade probably won't work on the Selkie's skin unless it is completely iron.
Okay. I'm taking notes. Continue.
So there's a story about these not it varies between 7 and 13 kids that were out in the pasture, walking along the lakeside, hanging out, doing hoodlum stuff. Maybe you never know. Back in the early centuries of Scotland,
Naturally doing hoodlum things.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and they encounter a horse, and the first kid jumps on the horse, says it's okay. The next kid jumps on the horse. Next thing you know, there's let's say 12 kids on this
Oh
horse.
my god. Yeah.
The horse just stretches like a limo. The Kelpie will stretch to fit as many riders as it can.
Love that for us.
The last kid touches it with his hand to get it ready to go on. What he knows is that he's stuck. So the Kelpie takes off to the water. This kid, the last kid, he realizes he can't let go. And he's being dragged along. But he's quick thinking. He takes out his knife and chops off his own hand.
Yep. I knew it was coming. I wasn't even ready, but I knew it was coming.
That's how you unstick yourself from a Kelpie.
Just chop off the whole limb.
Pretty much. That's also a fun fact that they can stretch to fit as many riders as they can. So it's like a limo horse.
You could have absolutely kept that information to yourself and I would have survived. That's disgusting.
So you've escaped without touching it. Are you going to go back and try? Can you think of a way to defeat it?
To like just banish it?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just really want to set this fucking thing on fire. That's my automatic thought is if it's got that skin and it's got like the stickiness, I feel like it could melt. So I like just automatically want to set it on like hella fire.
You know that's how you make a knuckle of V.
I'm gonna leave. I'm quitting the podcast.
If there's a rider stuck to it and you catch it on fire.
If there's somebody stuck to it, I'm not just gonna catch it on fire. I'll at least dismember the person first. Pull them off the horse.
That's much better.
Dismember.
Okay, but it's not on the horse when I catch it on fire. It's fine. Also,
no,
it's dangerously close to just describing fucking Ichabod Crane. So, like, it's getting wild up in here.
Okay. So how would you kill the Knucklevi? So you said fire? I think it'd be okay with fire.
Oh, okay.
Seeing as it is a water horse.
Yeah, but the skin, I'm telling you, it's not, what the fuck is the word?
Fire resistant?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm telling you, you can catch it on fire. I don't think anybody's tried with a flamethrower yet, Silver.
They didn't have
or a
bazooka. Back in the day.
Dude, I am getting an entire stack of dynamite and sticking it to that bitch. I bet it works.
It might just make itself not sticky, though.
True.
Would you like to know how the lore says to kill a Kelpie?
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Have you heard of how to kill the Kelpie, Nex?
Yep.
Would you like to say?
Sure. Sure. Okay. So I know how it goes with like the human shaped ones. I don't exactly remember with the horse one, but with the human shaped ones, what they have is sometimes they'll have like a pendant or a necklace on. And so what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to take that from them because that's
How
like
you
their
doing that with
pride.
touching their skin?
And they're human shaped.
Their human shape.
Yeah, don't they have the skin in the human shape?
You just have to
No.
seduce the seducer. It's
Oh, okay,
quite
all right.
simple. It's quite
So
simple.
this is literally a Nex creature. I got you. All right.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay,
Shadow has
so
this in his book of what to do when things get crazy. Got it.
so you basically just grab that because without that it's like their heart
Uh-huh.
kind of. Without that, you can control the Kelpie for up to 24 hours because they'll die within 24 hours of not having it.
Oh.
So you become its master.
Oh.
Yes, that is one way. The horse way, and that'd probably work as human too, is a silver bullet. It'll just turn them into a pile. What they described it, where it was a Kelpie can be killed with being shot with a silver bullet, after which it is seen to consist of nothing more than turf and a soft mass like jellyfish.
Uh-huh.
So it turns into a lump
A lump.
of goo.
Well, you know.
Their bit and bridle or their pendant, as Nick said, when you take it from them, it also has special abilities. So it is said to, if you can get a Kelpie's bit and bridle, you can use it for healing down the road, or if you manage to get one and then exercise the Kelpie, if you shake it at a person, they turn into a horse.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This took a turn.
It happens. Just, randomly turning people into horses. Did we miss anything? There is a couple common stories with the Kelpies in it. Guess we can move on to story time.
Story time.
Would you like to say your story first next?
I don't. It's not really a story. I just heard that like not all Kelpies are bad. Not all Kelpies are bad. There's been like
You're full of shit.
Okay, let me let me explain. Listen,
Uh-huh.
listen. So, very rare accounts, like maybe 2 or 3. Very rare. Very rare. Kelpies have been known to save children from drowning.
Okay.
It's very rare.
Very rare. Usually they're the ones doing the drowning, right? But
Yeah.
Most here we are.
Yeah, but here we are. I don't exactly have the story. I just read it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and they even said like there's like very, very, very few accounts of that, but you never know. There could be really nice Kelpies out there.
It's just all the bad Kelpies that get in the media.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a semi-nice Kelpie story.
Uh-huh.
Semi-nice. So this Kelpie walks up on the shore and turns into this beautiful human man and finds this lady, next to a tree where they introduce each other, talk to each other, because Kelpies can speak common or whatever, Scottish, English, whatever their local dialect is. They get to know each other, and the Kelpie asks the girl if he could fall asleep on her lap, and she agrees. And she notices that the man had a necklace, the bridle, on his neck. Well, she pulls that off, and he turns into back into his horse farm.
Mm.
His horse farm.
His
Yeah.
farm. Mm-hmm.
His farm. Back into his horse form, where she then has control over him.
Oh.
So she takes him to her father's farm. And in this story, he can be without his bridle for more than 24 hours. It's just she has complete control over him. So for the next 7 years, she works him daily on the farm because Kelpies have the strength of 10 horses.
Oh.
Can do 10 times the work. But every night, she would sit with him and talk with the horse form of him.
Mm.
And after 7 years, she goes to an old wise man's house, and the old wise man says, "Bring him here the next day, and we shall see if he needs to be set free." So she rides him over to the wise man's house, and he's like, give him back his bridle. He will not do nothing. So he gives Kelpie the bridle back, and he turns back into the human male. The wise man says, you can either stay a horse, work on the farm, and go free, or you can lose your Kelpie powers, never to turn into a horse again, but you will get to marry the daughter.
Oh.
And the Kelpie chose Marion over getting his powers back.
Wow.
Because Kelpies are seen in 3 ways from what I've seen. They are seen as usually, they are described by a folklorist, Walter Greger, as either useful, hurtful, or seeking human companionship. So that one, he was seeking companionship. Most of the time, they're hurtful.
Right.
Another story that was kind of funny that I seen was this Lord Murphy, Lord of Morphe. He captured a Kelpie and used it to carry all his stones to build his castle. But then he released him after making him do all this work. And the Kelpie put a curse on his family. So the curse states, "Sore back and sore bones, driving the Lord of Morphe's stones. The Lord of Morphe will never thrive as long as the Kelpie is alive." And apparently this curse worked because his bloodline went extinct.
Oh.
Now, Kaoitic shall read the Scottish version.
Yeah, let me just... no. I don't think so.
There you go. I posted it for you.
Oh, okay, hang on. Sair back and Sair Baines, driving the Laird o' Morphy stains. The Laird o' Morphy will never thrive as lang's the Kelpie is alive. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take it.
That's pretty good.
Any of our Scottish listeners, I am so sorry that I even said that was remotely good, because I know to you it's not going to be, but for my basic bitch American ass, it was pretty great. And I promise I have some Irish and Scottish in me. I'm not a fake. Okay.
Those are the most common of the stories. Would you guys like to move on to media?
I want to know what they're in.
Do you want to say yours first, Nex? Your one you have?
Okay. So they're in DuckTales. The
okay.
new DuckTales. The new DuckTales. Where Scrooge McDuck, the boys, Launchpad, all of them end up in a fae realm in Scotland. And they see 2 small ponies at the very beginning, and like they're trying to find their way to defeat like this ancient magic.
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and trying to find their way back to like Scrooge McDuck's parents' house, whatever. And they're like, yeah, we know how you're supposed to get there. We can like lead you on your way. All you have to do is hop on our backs. And like they're trying to get them onto their backs the whole time, or like go swimming with them or whatever. And Scrooge McDuck is like, no, you're a Kelpie. Don't listen to them, boys. Don't go in the water. They're going to drown you and eat you.
Oh, we love
So,
that.
yeah.
I was having a little hard time finding references to the Kelpie. Berserk has one,
Mm.
and modded Minecraft has Kelpies in them. There's also a bunch of different, like, fantasy stories usually have Kelpies in them. Is there a Kelpie in the Monster Manual?
I don't know. I am unsure.
I would think that there would be one.
You check D&D Beyond. Not sponsored, unless you want to sponsor us, D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Kelpie, monster, amphibious. They call the Kelpie a plant. The Kelpie can breathe air and water, seaweed shape. The Kelpie can use its action to reshape its body into the form of a humanoid or beast that is small, medium, or large. Statistics are otherwise unchanged. The disguise is convincing unless the Kelpie is bright light. Is in bright light. So in D&D, it can turn into seaweed. Well, if you have any other suggestions for Kelpies in media, just send it to us on Twitter or Discord.
Yes, please inform.
Well, I guess it's time for Mayhem then.
Bring it on, Kelpies.
We'll have our guest start us off.
Um,
Unless you would rather one of us go.
yeah.
I'ma say it. I don't think they're shit. I don't think any of us in today's day and age are gonna see. I mean, there's obviously a select few of us that are horse lovers that would probably maybe try to approach it, but I feel like in a mystical sense, we would very much be on high alert and be like, something ain't right here. In the instance that we did get caught in it, I think we'd catch on pretty fucking quick that people are drowning when this horse appears. Or if like there's a pretty lady that appears, which I think would be less likely to attract us in that way. But yeah, that's just, I don't think that they'd be very chaotic.
Yeah, that are not quite on the scale, I'd say, of like our last monster, the Gashadokuro.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if they'd be sporadic, from what I've seen, they're more solitary creatures. They don't have herds or packs.
Right.
But if they did,
yeah, it might be a little bit more wild.
If you get a Kelpie that is in human form and a Kelpie that is in horse form, and try and have them both to convince little kids at like a carnival, maybe.
Does the human one have like a full range of conversation?
Yeah, they can speak and all.
Right, but does it sound like a fucking robot?
Not
do you know what I mean?
Of.
Like, is it actually educationally speaking, or is it a brainless speak?
From what I understand by all the curses and everything, that it is intelligent.
Yeah, it could be dangerous for the kids for sure.
They'd have to just start coming up with new ways to capture kids. Adults would probably be a little harder to get.
No, I think that with today's modern day thing, because like they're based out of Scotland, and there's like the big statues with the Kelpies there.
Stop terrifying, bro. They would fuck those Kelpies up.
Scotland is terrifying. Like they're also like there's stories of them in Wales and all that, like all like around that area, and like most people who are like that live there know about the tales and all that stuff. But could you just imagine like tourists going there to visit and not knowing and just like, oh yeah, this it's all made up. But what if your tour guide was a Kelpie?
Oh,
bro, like
yeah.
they could just be like, all right, let me lead you along like this river path here and show you like some really neat stuff, and then they just
full Volturi on this shit.
Oh yeah,
Volturi?
Because
we'll explain in a minute.
Okay.
Because like they have to be intelligent in order to like get as much done as I have and have so many different like stories and different twists and turns with like their personalities and like the different angles of a Kelpie. They're not just hurtful, vengeful creatures that just want to devour people. Some of them also want companionship. Some of them want to help people. So like
So they're straight
you
up
never
water
know.
vampires.
Yeah,
Oh my
you
god.
you you just don't know. So I think like unless you are like super paranoid about everybody that you meet, you're not going to know.
Mm.
You're not gonna know.
Who's going to know? Who's going to know? What if this Kelpie just happens to be like a fisherman or whatever, posing as a fisherman? Like you could have like you could have some like sand on you or like maybe some seaweed caught in your hair or whatever. No big deal because nobody's going to blink twice on that.
Nah, you can see it in your hair. I'm gonna say something.
Well, yeah, you could say something and they're like, "Oh yeah, let me just pull that out."
What if they just tuck it under some of their hair?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
with all like the the TikTok tutorials on like how to do your hair, all that stuff. Like, dude,
Imagine a Kelpie watching TikTok. Anyways, the Volturi silver
Okay.
is it's from Twilight and it's the like main ring of like royal vampires. And they lure tours in. Like you can take tours of the like
Okay.
facility, like their castle.
Yeah.
And in the center, when you get to the throne room, they kill all the tourists and eat them. So imagine if you were a Kelpie giving a tour to kids or like, obviously like people not from the native land, and you bring them to your group of Kelpie.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I forgot to mention, kind
Mm-hmm.
of going backwards. Uh, there is a couple variations of what the Kelpie look like. Sometimes they're not just a horse. Aberdeenshire,
Mm-hmm.
the Kelpie's mane, instead of hair, is snakes, serpents.
Oh.
It's got a mane of serpents.
yeah. See, I would not be touching that. Nope.
Then in the River Spey, it was white, and the Kelpie there would entice its victims onto its back by singing. You'd have a singing horse, like a siren. Yeah. I think they'd be more locally dangerous,
I agree.
especially if they move from pond to pond
For sure.
or an area with a lot of wild horses
Mm.
and deep mud so you couldn't see their hoofs.
Yeah.
Hooves.
Oops.
You guys have anything else chaos wise?
Nope.
Mm, well, okay. So here's another scenario. It's gonna be like super wild and crazy, but like with today's modern day and age, with kelpies needing to
Mm-hmm.
be near fresh water, could you just imagine them having like a social media platform and like creating a following to where like fans just want to come out and meet them, but like their fans just start disappearing? It'd be crazy.
Ooh,
It'd be wild.
yeah. Be like a Twitch pool streamer
Yeah.
or an Instagram person.
And like they get money then sent to them so that they can fly out to like other bodies of water ish. That'd be crazy.
True.
Be super nuts.
That's where all the phones that people lose in the locks are. They just keep stealing those.
Yeah. Brush
Just
up on
head to
today's modern lingo.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could
I
see it.
think kelpies are dangerous, man.
Shape changers in general,
Yeah.
especially if they could learn to shapeshift into something other than humans and horses. Like, oh, there's a dog. A dog has strength of 10 horses. You pet it and it sticks.
Don't be petting dogs. Don't be petting some weird, mysterious...
Don't pet nothing. Chilling, just sitting there. Don't do that shit.
Don't talk
Especially
to,
by the
like,
water edge.
random pretty people either, or the weird, crazy old man down at the corner. Just
Don't pet him.
mind your business.
So this reminds me of something else. They say the origin of the Kelpie started with either sacrifices to a horse water spirit back early on. It said it could also be the Kelpie story is to warn young children to stay away from bodies of water and strangers. To warn young women to stay away from handsome men and strangers and not to get promiscuous with them. The last warning for the Kelpies is to go to church and behave yourself, which is because that, the story I told earlier where the kids were all riding on the stretch limo Kelpie. There is a variation of that story where the last kid only survived because he cut off his hand and he had a Bible in his back pocket.
Interesting.
And it was said that if they went to Sunday school, they wouldn't have met the Kelpie and they wouldn't have gotten into trouble. Also, if you look at pictures of the Kelpie, there's a lot of them that are drawn in their female forms. It's just because later on in the timeline of history, Kelpie's been started drawn more as female than males, but more of the stories are males. Yeah.
Okay.
Well then, I guess that's gonna be all for this episode.
Dabbing on them.
Dabbing. Yeah.
Dab.
Just
dab,
dab
but not
on that.
into the Kelpie. Don't dab into the Kelpie. Just dab away from it. Dab away.
Dab away.
Dab away. Like back up.
Yeah.
Back up dabs.
Dip, duck, dodge, and dab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dab, dodge, dip, and dodge. Dab.
What?
Don't ask questions.
My brain just went, what? Mush. Fried. Gone.
Anyways, thank you to our patrons, Loki, Nuggies, Mondi, Thor, and Ruby, who's last this time.
Woo!
Anything special coming up, Chaotic?
Lots of tournaments coming up for DBD, so be on the lookout for those for like the next 2 to 3 weekends. I've got like 3 different tournaments, so that's the wildness at the moment.
Any planned release date?
For what?
I don't know if you
For
want
what?
to tell anybody about your own podcast.
I am starting my new podcast. I don't have an official release date, but the hopeful release date is the 24th. I'm going to try and keep with our Wednesdays. And that way people have 2 podcasts to listen to on a Wednesday at the end of the months. So we're going to try our best. But that's my goal, is by the 24th it should be edited and out. So it could be earlier. Keep your eyeballs peeled.
One more shout out for Nex. Would you like to promote yourself one more time?
Yeah. I'm Nex Noir. I'm the cat living, or the cat
Resident cat, stray cat.
The resident cat for Twitch. And I'll be back to streaming May 11th. So yeah.
Should go check out our local cat. Chaotic with the outro. Don't think I'm forgetting anything else.
Thank you for listening to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. Silver and Chaotic take you into the depth of the lore and discuss how these legends could affect modern-day society. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or almost any podcast service easiest to you. Dive into the depths of chaos with us every Wednesday, bar Silver and Chaotic not missing their scheduling, and consider joining the podcast Discord or Twitter following more insider looks and some D&D sessions. If you'd like some extra special inside looks or even want to be a guest on the show, consider helping us via Patreon. Your help makes such a big difference to us both. Until next time, Mythics, you never know what I was doing so good. You never know what kind of mayhem we might get into. Just keep it.
Just keep it.
Just keep
Send
it.
it.
I'm not redoing it. I did so fucking good. I even had like levels to my voice.
We're doing it live.
We're
Send
doing
it.
it live. Send it.